Good morning. This is Christopher Hand, Director of Assessment, Evaluation, and Testing for Liberty Public Schools.
I'm Lori Fela. I'm the Process Coordinator for Special Education in Liberty Public Schools.
And this screencast is specifically for teachers that teach students that participate in the MAP-A. So this is a special education screencast. And Lori, we're going to first go into the actual reports the teachers will be receiving, correct?
Correct.
So what you'll be receiving in this report is something from the dynamic learning maps, correct?
Correct. It's the individual student year-end report. It's a profile indicating how the student performed on all the essential elements that were assessed.
So Lori, as you go through this, it actually has the level where the students achieved, correct?
Correct. The goal is to be at target. So you can see this student is approaching the target in the skills for English language arts.
And below it describes each area for emerging, approaching the target, at target, and advanced. So you have this as the front page for every single student, correct?
Correct.
Wonderful. Now, how can you use this as we go through for instruction in the classroom for the next year?
The essential elements outline the steps that are required to reach grade level expectations. They're broken down into the basic elements, and as you look at this page, you'll see that this is for English language arts. This essential element, determining the critical elements of text, this student has shown the skills of seek absent objects, attend to object characteristics, and identify familiar people, objects, places, or events. There are more stair steps in reaching that target, and as we look at the following sheets, you'll see that those other skills that then we'll work on next. As you can see, ELA C1.1, the area that's shaded shows that that is the skill that he's mastered. The next skill in that essential element is identifying familiar people, objects, places, or events. And so that's what we'll be focused on for instruction.
So really, that's what John Hattie talks about, the what's next in teaching. And where you find is where we're trying to reach that number 4 target, which is clearly marked here. You see where you already are with that student to begin the school year, correct?
Correct.
So really, this is the goal where you can start. You don't have to start back here with instruction or using some sort of a strategy.
Correct.
Well, that's wonderful. Let's talk about, and here's another example here for ELA, and then you have an example for ELA again. And again, there's more, talk about why there's a little bit more shaded in here.
This student on the last three, or actually the last two essential elements that were assessed, you can see that direct attention to objects and people was the base for both of those. This student also is able to indicate a choice between two objects and select a familiar topic. So he's mastered the skills toward that target, has one more on each of those bottom two to actually reach the target. So the teacher's going to work on writing facts and details about a topic and producing writing which expresses multiple ideas.
That's wonderful. That's great. So then again, we have mathematics, same thing.
Same thing.
So
This,
go ahead.
yeah, this student's approaching the target in math as well, and you can see it shows that he's mastered 2 of the 5 skills for that essential element in the demonstrating increasing complex understanding and number sense. It shows you that he's at 40% on all 4 of those claims, and that he has 3 skills left to master on those 4.
Wonderful. Again, here are the essential elements, same as before in ELA. And then as you move down the line again, it talks about, breaks them down actually into the actual levels, correct?
Correct.
So again, if you're teaching this, Lori, what would this look like for you as you look at this information for the student?
Well, I'm going to know that on the endpoint C1 that the student can identify before and after. He can explain number sequence and patterns, and then so I can use that as the basis of what he knows and for success, and then look at counting verbally or using objects to 30. So that's going to be my next.
So looking at next year, and this is wonderful information, they have, all teachers that work with MAP-A students have all this information for every single student that participated in
Yes,
MAP-A.
they do.
For next year, looking at MAP-A, I'm going to take us to the DESE site for MAP-A. If you just go to DESE, the assessment page, and then click on MAP-A, you would actually find the website.
Correct.
What are some critical pieces that you need to know about MAP-A for next year? Should we look at the dates to start with at the bottom?
Yes, the dates of administration for the MAP-A. October 7th to December 17th is the fall window. So during that time, we'll have administered the assessment. Then again, from November 4th to December 2nd is the Science Fall Field Test. All of our students are participating in the fall field test for science this year. We will not be doing the portfolios that we have to
Oh, wow.
compile. It will all be computerized this year. And then in January, we start the winter window that goes through March. And the big important one is April 4th to May 27th, which is the spring assessment. Those are the scores that
The Super Bowl.
the Super Bowl. Those are
Hmm.
the scores that we get our reports on that show the progress for the year.
So going back to the top of the page, it really begins with what is MAP-A, all the quick links you can find, everything from manuals to resources to training technical materials, so on and so forth. But as you go farther down, the flow chart, the webinars, right? Of what you,
Right, and this is the area. This is the information that an IEP team uses to determine whether or not a student is eligible for MAP-A. And I think it's important to use that flow chart and that checklist when you have an IEP meeting to make those determinations.
wonderful. And then some of these resources here, real quick, that a teacher could go to, everything from professional development modules to the field test, to the glossary. This is something they can get 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Correct. And in the training modules, if you'll go back up a little bit, the professional development modules, those are not required, but they are excellent resources for looking at how to provide instruction based on those essential elements. So when you look at that chart and you see what skills need to be addressed, these modules, there'll be information on how to provide instruction to reach those targets.
Wonderful. Lori, if there was one other thing you would like to show the group, and I know we're going to do other screencasts like this to send to them, what's one more piece you would show?
I would have the test administration. I think that all the teachers need to look at that. And then because it supports you and it helps you remember the things that you need to do when you're doing the assessment. The educator portal login is there. That is where you will go in to do the test information pages, to pull those up. That's where you're going to be looking for when you have to do those instructional plans. That is the site that you go to for those. The Kite client just above that, that has to be downloaded on at least one computer in your classroom. We can have those downloaded onto students' individual devices, and they can take the assessment there.
The technical manual, I just want to make sure that's something they don't have to follow all the way through. That's your job,
That's my job. They do not have to know the technical requirements.
right? So that's a no-no.
Correct.
Okay, so what I want to just reiterate again is that this whole webinar, the purpose of it was to actually show the results of students, how you can use them in the classroom, and then what's next for MAP-A.
Correct.
And so we're starting up very quickly. So you'll be getting more information from you, Lori, to the teachers?
Correct. We have several meetings scheduled. We'll be reviewing this and also doing some of the training modules together.
Well, Lori, thank you for coming by. We'll be sending out more webinars, and thank you guys for listening. Have a great day. Remember to inspire, invest, and innovate every day at Liberty Public Schools.